So I have another set of documents I want to talk to you about. And these are really, and I don't say this lightly, because I've reviewed probably hundreds of thousands of documents in my I'm here almost 22 years, believe it or not. 22 years. I was mighty young when I began here at Judicial Watch. This is these documents we've received, thanks to a Judicial Watch FOIA lawsuit, are the most disturbing documents I've ever reviewed. And why is that? Because they document the transfer and sale, for profit or not, is a legal dispute or a legal debate or debate factually. But they document the transfer and sale of the body parts and tissue of aborted unborn human beings. You may recall that there was a controversy last year that there was trafficking in the body parts of unborn human beings. And the question is whether it was contrary to law or whether they were following the law. There's a federal law that regulates the purchase and acceptance of human fetal tissue for research purposes. It is unlawful to knowingly transfer fetal tissue for profit. Interestingly, according to the documents that we've received, it was found that federal regulations for the protection of human subjects do not apply to the above-named activity. What is the above-named activity we're investigating? The creation of humanized mice by a scientist or a lab associated with the National Institutes of Health. And they were buying the organs and other tissues related to from aborted unborn human beings from the first and second trimester. These are the documents, 676 pages, and they're hard to describe. When you see an invoice, let me pull one out here. Let me get it out, excuse me. Thymus, second trimester. Liver, second trimester. The fee for each is blacked out, $750, paid via Visa. Document after document showing that livers and organs of unborn human beings in the second trimester are being sold to this lab. Now, they would say not at a profit, I would presume. That deserves further investigation, and frankly, it ought to be under criminal investigation. But really disturbing material. And I tell you, we've got all the documents here. You can go through and see document after document. It is a catalog of horrors that I've never seen before here at Judicial Watch. Products of human conception is what it's called in the documents. Do you think that's appropriate? Do you want your tax dollars being used to pay for those types of transactions, even if they're not for profit? The company we're looking at is a California-based firm, Advanced Bioscience Resources. There were at least 26 purchases from ABR by Dr. Kim Hassenkrug, who's a senior investigator at the NIH lab in Hamilton, Montana. That's what was going on here. We've got the documents. The purchase orders associated with the transaction state these tissues, liver, thymus, are required by Ron Messer for ongoing studies of HIV in the Hassenkrug lab. That's the Montana lab. Our mice will be ready for reconstitution soon. Beginning with the 2016 payment and running through April 2018 records, the records show that a fetal liver and thymus set cost $680, and the payment was due upon receipt. They gave us copies of the, you run your card and you get a little receipt. They had the receipts attached to the documents, copies of them. And then the cost increased to $750. All this was purchased via credit card. Again, there are criminal referrals on this activity by House and Senate committees. And they want to know whether Planned Parenthood, who is, I think, the largest provider of abortions in the country, or any other entity, was illegally profiting from the handling of this fetal tissue from aborted unborn human beings. The records include a November 2009 request for review of research activity involving human subjects with the protocol title Study of HIV Infection and Vaccine Protection in Mice Reconstituted with a Human Immune System. That basically they were developing this cohort of humanized mice using this tissue from aborted unborn human beings. So this is pretty terrible stuff. The firm is described as a nonprofit corporate foundation and is devoted to providing services in connection with the procurement of human organs and tissues for medical and scientific research. Where are the subjects of this research activity located? One of the forums says. The answers: the material for this research is obtained from natural or induced abortions from females in California. Don't worry, they're protecting the identity of the poor women whose unborn human beings, who I'm sure who were told they weren't unborn human beings, morally or biologically. Certainly they're biologically enough of human beings to have an organ that they could transact with. I tell you, I've never seen anything like this before in my life. I hope never to see it again, and I hope it's stopped. I'm not confident it's been. Every responsible official of government, from the president through the HHS secretary, Henry Azar, should investigate and stop the trafficking of the organs of unborn human beings. I think you would agree with that. As far as I'm concerned, these are taxpayer-funded, Frankenstein-type experiments. And as a taxpayer, I want no part of it. I understand they're trying to come up with a solution to a disease, but the means does not justify the ends.